Who is that?
This is the end of the mystery.
Well, if it isn't our old friend
Jianxin.
So today we'll be talking about Mortefi, one of the strongest support characters in the game Wuthering Waves as of right now. We're going to talk about his kit, why he's one of the strongest, talk about his best weapons, best echoes, best teams, rotations, all that, so that you know how to build and play Mortefi to the best of your ability. Alright, let's get started. So let's go over Mortefi's kit first. He has a 4-hit basic attack string, where he uses his dual pistols and flames to perform 4 consecutive shots, dealing fusion damage. His heavy attack enters him into an aiming state for a more powerful shot, and the aim shot fired also deals fusion damage. He also has a mid-air attack string, in which he jumps and consumes stamina to perform consecutive shots at the target in mid-air, which also deals fusion damage. Now, Mortefi has 2 resonance skills. The first one is called Passionate Variation. This is where he launches a flashing light of flames forward, dealing fusion damage at the enemy. His second resonance skill comes out when you max his Forte circuit. His Forte circuit is called Fury Fugue, and he gains stacks called Annoyance. Mortefi can hold up to 100 Annoyance, and when his Annoyance reaches 100, his resonance skill is replaced with Fury Fudge. When casting Fury Fudge, Mortefi consumes all Annoyance to unleash high-speed Flame Lightning, dealing fusion damage considered as resonance skill damage. He can stack Annoyance by getting hits with his normal attack, his intro skill, and his resonance skill. Mortefi's resonance liberation is called Violent Finale. Violent Finale deals fusion damage to the enemy and applies Burning Rhapsody to all characters in the team. Now you might be asking, what is Burning Rhapsody? Now this is the core reason why Mortefi is considered a very strong support unit. So when Burning Rhapsody is active, when the on-field character's basic attack hits the target, Mortefi launches a coordinated attack firing 1 Macardo. When the on-field character's heavy attack hits the target, Mortefi launches a coordinated attack firing 2 Macardo. And this coordinated attack can happen at once every 0.35 seconds. These Macardos deal fusion damage. So Mortefi essentially is the off-field damage support character for characters that prioritize using their heavy attacks when they're on field. And with such a short cooldown on his coordinated attacks, he can launch 1 Macardo every 0.35 seconds, and that stacks up to a lot of additional damage for your on-field character. Now let's talk about his intro and outro skill. So his intro skill just deals damage, and his outro skill is what is the most important. So his outro skill is called Rage Transposition, and it states that the next character or other characters on a nearby team that activates an outro skill gains a 38% heavy attack damage deepen for 14 seconds or until the character is switched off field. So remember how I was saying that he is a heavy attack supporting character? So with Burning Rhapsody, not only do you get additional coordinated attacks with Mortefi, but with this outro skill, the character on field that's doing heavy attacks will deal 38% more heavy attack damage for 14 seconds, which is huge. So for Mortefi's Forte Priority, you want to level up his Resonance Liberation first before anything, because that is literally the reason why anyone puts him on his team, right? His Resonance Liberation is super strong. Make sure you level that up first. Next, you want to level up his Resonance Skill, because that is his main damage dealing ability when he is on field, charging up his Concerto energy, charging up his Resonance Liberation energy. His Resonance Skill does a lot of damage, so you want to level that up second. Third, you want to level up is his Forte Circuit ability, which is how he gains stacks. And then next you want to level up his intro skill, and then finally his basic attack. Now since Mortefi is also a 4-star unit, his resonance chains are also very important and very powerful. The most important are Sequence 1, which launches coordinated attacks not only when your character does heavy attacks, but now performs a coordinated attack when the on-field character also uses their resonance skill, and it shoots 2 Ricardos when the on-field character uses their resonance skill. The next and most important one is the 4th sequence, which extends the duration of Burning Rhapsody by 7 seconds, which is huge because, like I said, you can fire a coordinated attack every 0.35 seconds. So that's a lot of coordinated attacks within those 7 seconds. And last but not least, the most important one is Sequence 6, which when you use his Resonance Liberation, the attack of all team members is increased by 20% for 20 seconds, which is huge. Mortefi's best in slot weapon is the 5-star standard pistol weapon called Static Mist. This is because the secondary stat for this weapon is crit rate, which is very important for any damage dealing character. It also gives you energy regen and also gives you bonus attack percent when you use your outro skill for the switched in character. For 4 stars, his best in slot weapon is the Cadenza. This is because it gives him energy regen as a secondary stat, and it also helps him restore considerable energy when he uses his resonance skill, which he uses very often because, like I said, he has 2 resonance skills. It's on a relatively low cooldown. If you don't have any of that, a good placeholder until you get the 4-star or 5-star weapon is the Pistols of Voyager. The secondary stat is attack percent, and it restores resonance energy whenever you use your resonance skill. So for Mortefi, like every other support unit, you want to run a 5-piece Moonlit Cloud set for the attack bonus after using your outro skill for the next character coming in. And you want to use the Impermanence Heron as the main activatable echo because of the, like I said, damage boost after using your outro skill. For your 4-cost echoes, To min-max, you want to run a 4-3-3-1-1 setup, with your 4 cost echoes running crit rate or crit damage, depending what you need more, your 3 cost running energy regen, and your 1 cost running attack percent. For his stats, you want to prioritize energy regen, because since he is a support unit, you want his Resonance Liberation up as much as possible. So aim for at least 140 to 160% energy regen, so you get as much uptime on his Resonance Liberation as you can. Next, you want to prioritize crit rate or crit damage and have a good ratio of crit and crit damage, and then prioritize attack percent, then Resonance Skill damage bonus, and Resonance Liberation damage bonus. So for Mortefi's best teams, like I said before, he is a heavy attack damage amplifier, so you want to put him on teams where the main DPS character is mostly using heavy attacks. As of right now, the characters he pairs the best with are Jiyan and Jianxin, because they are both heavy attack reliant characters. So you want to make sure you pair up Mortefi with Jiyan or Jianxin, and then add a support unit to that team as well. The best support unit right now would be Verina. Or if you don't have Verina, you can always use Baizhi. So here's what the rotation will look like with Jiyan, Mortefi, and Verina. I do not have Jiyan, so I'll be using someone else's footage. Shout out VinanXO on YouTube for this footage and explaining the rotation. So you start by using Verina's Resonance skill to stack her Forte circuit. Then you do a mid-air attack or heavy attack to consume her Forte skill and activate her passive, which gives you a 20% attack buff to all your team members, while also activating the Rejuvenating Glow set, which gives 15% attack for all team members. Then use her Echo skill and then her Resonance Liberation right away. Then you switch out to Mortefi with your Outro skill when your Concerto energy is full. You use Mortefi's Resonance skill to get Concerto energy, and when his Concerto energy is full, you activate your Resonance Liberation and switch out to Jiyan with this Outro skill. Then you use Jiyan's Resonance Liberation to activate his Resonance Liberation form, and you spam heavy attack. So here's what it looks like full speed. Now the combo with Jianxin and Mortefi is pretty cool. Jianxin's heavy attack is this spiral attack with a lot of separate hits, which means that Mortefi can proc his Resonance Liberation pretty much every 0.35 seconds because of how many frequent hits that Jianxin has on her heavy attack. You can see that in this video here. You cast Mortefi's Resonance Liberation, switch to Jianxin, cast her heavy attack, and you can see all the fireballs coming out are Mortefi's Resonance Liberation. She's proccing it every like 3 times a second. It's pretty cool. And not only that, because it counts as a heavy attack, it shoots out 2 fireballs instead of 1. Combine this with the Resonance Liberation, which is a crowd control ultimate that continuously sucks enemies into the middle of a whirlpool, and you have yourself a tornado of death, pretty much. Now, if you don't have any of the 5 stars I mentioned previously, like Jiyan or Jianxin, you can always slot in Mortefi into pretty much any team, as he's very flexible. So the template you want to follow is you want to have a main damage character, maybe Rover for example. Then you add in Mortefi as the sub-DPS and support character. Then you want a healer / supporting character, which could be either Baizhi or even Taochi. You can replace any of these characters except for Mortefi as long as they fit the theme of a support character or a main DPS character. So Rover you can replace with Danjin. I don't have Danjin, so just pretend Sana was Danjin. And here's another team. You replace Taochi with Baizhi, and there's another team. So you can see he's very flexible. He pretty much slots into any team because of how his kit works. And the rotation is pretty much the same. You go to your healer, you make sure you use her skills to buff Mortefi. Mortefi then uses his abilities and then uses Ultra skill to buff your main DPS character. And that's about it for the Mortefi guide. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. If you learned something or you found this video helpful, make sure to let me know by leaving a like. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any other future Wuthering Waves videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.